Hello, friends. Welcome to special episode of the Coffee Conversation Show at the Emerging Lawyer. We are today at K. Singhania and Company at the Nariman Point office. We have today with us Srishti Singhania, a third generation lawyer. She has expertise in intellectual property law, then arbitration law, commercial mediation, and corporate compliance. And she is a principal associate at this firm. Today's theme is SME legal guide, trademarks, copyrights, and beyond. Welcome, Srishti, to this special episode.
Thank you for this opportunity.
So, Srishti, before I begin, I want to explain to you we have three. The show is divided into this episode divided in three formats. First one is the professional part. Second is your personal journey. Third is a surprise rapid fire round. So, let's begin. So, don't worry, you'll do a good job. Yeah, so Srishti, uh, what made you become a third generation lawyer at K. Singhania and Company, and how has your journey been till date?
So I was being a third generation lawyer. I think my journey started in law when I was born. Initially, I didn't want to become a lawyer because I do not like conflict. But then I realized that I have the skills to help my clients resolve their disputes because I had a critical and critical analytical mind to understand the law. And secondly, I had a lot of empathy towards my clients. And so I wanted to be like a peacemaker. I wanted to ensure that my clients are able to resolve their disputes outside court and they do not have to go through the long journey of court proceedings. So that is how I began my journey as a lawyer. And even though I came from a legal family, I ensured that I go to the best law school, I get the best training from some of the top lawyers. So I started my journey at National Law School, Delhi, and then thereafter I joined Cyril Amachand Mangaldas in Mumbai. After learnings from them, after getting some experience, I joined my own firm, K. Singhania and Company, which is set up by my father. And I also was very keen to learn about the international practices in arbitration law and how other countries are adopting it. So I did a master's in arbitration law from Queen Mary University of London. So this has been my journey so far, and over the years, I've been able to, have experience in other practices as well as dispute resolution. So as you mentioned, intellectual property law, corporate advisory. So this, helps me be a 360-degree lawyer. And if any business challenge my client is facing, I'm able to, help them.
Wow, that's interesting. So my next question, Srishti, will be: you have played a role of a mediator and arbitrator. Can you share us some examples where you have resolved, and what was your involvement, and how did it come about the success?
So before I answer your question, I think I'll briefly explain what is mediation and what is arbitration.
Yeah, very much.
So mediation is a process where a neutral party, they help the parties to come to a settlement. Many times, like parties are not talking to each other because they have egos. There is a communication gap, and they're not able to communicate effectively. And sometimes they do not know how to resolve the dispute. So a mediator actually helps the parties to think out of the box and try to think of solutions so that they can come to a settlement. And arbitration is like a court proceeding, but it is outside court where parties appoint an arbitrator, which is equivalent to a judge or like you can say a private judge, and the arbitrator decides the dispute, and then thereafter the courts can enforce whatever decision the arbitrator takes. Mm-hmm. So one of my challenging experiences in mediation and arbitration was when we were representing a stock exchange, one of the stock exchanges of India. They had an arbitration with a foreign stock exchange, and it was a very high stake matter, very confidential matter. And the interesting part of the dispute was that there were no laws in India regarding those issues. So we had to research on the laws of US and other countries. The dispute was very technical, so we had to explain the arbitrator what the issue was because it was regarding financial products. So we had to really, help the arbitrator understand with a lot of pie charts and a lot of other ways to explain him. And so it was very interesting to see how through arbitration, we were able to explain the arbitrator what the dispute was. We had enough time to explain him. and the arbitrator himself actually encouraged the parties to mediate and settle the dispute. So a very important dispute for them, they were able to resolve very quickly thanks to all the solutions and services they got, and they were able to resolve it within like a few months, 2 months. So that was very beneficial for the clients, and it was a great experience for me.
Yeah, so friends, Srishti explained very well what is mediation, what is arbitration. So go for this approach instead of using the code. I'm being uh, on this show. We'll delve into why as we go in the conversation. My next question will be, Shrishti, how does alternative dispute resolution help the businesses, small, medium, large corporates, and any example where you have faced some challenge and you have achieved solving them?
So before any dispute starts, I think the first step that parties usually take is they try to settle it. But sometimes the settlements are not taking place, or the other party is not cooperating. So it's important that in your agreements you have a mediation clause. So then you can appoint a professional mediator, and the professional mediator will help to understand the parties, what they want, and try to help them understand how by settling it is more beneficial for them than going to court. So it helps actually the mediator professionals actually understand the psychology of the parties and help them to get together. And similarly, you can also have a clause in your agreement arbitration, that is, suppose if mediation doesn't work, then we can go to arbitration instead of going to courts, as that is a more efficient process. The private person is appointed, and parties can decide on the timeline of the dispute, how fast they want to resolve it. So I think important that small businesses, they have some agreements regarding to how the dispute is resolved, because sometimes they do not have any agreements in place, and then they have to go to court, which can be a lengthy procedure and can will take time to resolve the dispute. So and the challenges that we have faced is usually when the parties they are not able to communicate with the other side. There are some ego issues, there are some miscommunication gaps. So as lawyers, we actually help to communicate with the other side's lawyers and help the parties to come together.
That's very good explanations, Shrishti. Now, my next question will be, what groundwork goes into making commercial contracts?
So when we make commercial contracts, I think a lot of businesses, they actually are operating without any contracts, or on businesses through WhatsApp, through emails. It's mostly through phone calls also, and
Yes.
sometimes there are no WhatsApp. So when the dispute arises, then is when they remember the lawyer. So if they have a commercial contract and all their business objectives are clearly explained, and not only what you want from the business, but also in case any issue arises, how will you resolve it. So it is important to write both these aspects in your contracts, instead of adopting like standard templates without understanding the terms. It's important that you reach out to a lawyer, understand the terms, because contracts is like the foundation of your business. So if your foundation isn't strong, there will be issues that will come up in your business. So it's important that you take help of a proper lawyer and make that foundation strong, so that your business can go hassle free.
Thank you. Uh, Shrishti, you have worked in various sectors like construction, pharmaceuticals, fashion. How has the experience been working in India as well as on international projects?
So the it is interesting to work with both Indian companies and international companies. Indian companies have a different mindset, and international, like international companies are they are more they want lawyers to support them from the really start of their business, so that they do not face any challenges when growing the business. Whereas Indian companies, they feel like lawyers could be a bit expensive, and they reach out to lawyers only when they have a challenge. So I think there is a, if they have the same mindset as international businesses, that they should take help of a lawyer in the starting, so that they can build a strong foundation, and maybe later on in the business they don't even need a legal help or any legal support. So I feel there's a difference in the approach towards lawyers with respect to international companies and Indian companies. um, and also so I feel like maybe Indian companies need to ensure that they take lawyers from the very start.
That's very true. My continuing conversation. Now let's come back to India, to our small and medium enterprise companies, what should SME companies take into factors to avoid legal hurdles which can come up in the future? So, share some insights being from your experience.
Yes, so I think firstly they need to have as I said, that they need a strong foundation. So strong foundation starts with how you want to structure your business. Does it have to be a company? Does it have to be a partnership? What is the agreement between your founders? So very important that all the business terms are clearly there between the shareholders or between the founders or between the partners, because if there is no clear terms and we are just doing business on WhatsApp and through friendship, through family relations, then when dispute arises it becomes very difficult to resolve them. So very important to have that foundation agreement in place. Important that you protect your intellectual property that you are building. A lot of times people are building new technology, new invention, and they start using it, they start selling it without protecting it, and then later they realize that they can't protect it under law, because for any new technology it does not have to be sold. Like before you register it, it cannot be disclosed to the public. So very important that you protect all your intellectual property, you protect your brand logo, everything. You have your proper commercial contracts. I think second point is commercial contracts. So it's important that you have your contracts with your employees, with your distributors, everybody in your distribution channel, so that there is no any conflict that arises can be prevented through the contractual terms. And also compliance is an important aspect, which I feel the CAs and CSs help companies. And the last aspect is that when dispute arises, always have some written communication. So if you're sending reminders, if you're not getting your payments, send written reminders, because sometimes parties keep don't send written reminders, they keep talking on calls, and then after a year or so, when they don't get their payment, then they come to a lawyer, so it becomes difficult for the lawyer to support them. So ensure that you have as much as written communication as you can, so that if case a dispute arises, a lawyer can help you then.
Very good advice. Uh, my next question will be on your specialty of trademark. While working with a client for trademark, patent, and copyright, what are your checklists you keep in mind while dealing with them?
So I'll briefly explain what is trademark, copyright, and patent, and then I can explain the
Yeah,
brief
please, please.
little bit about the checklist. So trademark is basically a law which helps to protect the company's brand logo, the brand name, their packaging. So anything connecting to your brand. And nowadays, brand is the most important business asset for any new upcoming business or even old businesses. So it is when you are protecting your trademark or brand name, it's important to understand that you are using a unique name and nobody else in the market is using it. Because many times small companies, they start using a name and then later they realize that it was actually registered by another entity, and then they may get a legal notice or they may face any hurdle in their business. So important that before you choose your business name, you do a search on the trademark office to see that that it is a unique name, nobody else is using it. And then thereafter you go and protect it, because sometimes you don't want any other person to go and protect it before you, or register it before you. A lot of times we see that some third party, just to harass businesses, they will just take a domain name of the same business name, and later the business will come to know. Okay, then when confusion starts is when they come to us. And this is not only for new companies, even old companies that have been in business for 30 years, 100 years, they have faced this, where some third party unknown person, stranger, starts a business website like www.abcdlogistics.com, and then they are like, this is causing confusion, and they did not have even a registered trademark. So then is they realize that, okay, then they realize that they have to protect their brand name. It is so important, right? So only when you protect it can you then monetize it. So very important to protect your trademark, and first do a search so that you ensure that you're not using a name which is already registered or already belongs to another business. Then copyright law is mostly for creative industry. So for media industry, it's used to protect books, movies, songs, anything artwork, anything creative and artistic, also software. So in copyright as well, registration is not the most important thing, but it is important to ensure that you are the owner, because otherwise there are issues. You have some proof that you are the owner. Otherwise, a lot of
Mm.
times it happens that you give your book to somebody and then they publish it without your consent, and later it's difficult for you to prove that you are the owner. So that is why some before you send to any third party, you have some communication with them that I am the owner, I have written it, and you can't use it without my permission. So the written communication is important. And then third, for patents also, patents means protects any new technology or any new invention. That so many times what happens is that businesses, they make something new, they make an invention, they start selling it, and then later they realize, okay, I want to protect my invention, I want to protect my new medical product or engineering product. But under the patent law, you can't protect something which is disclosed. So if you
Mm.
think that you're making something which is new in the field of science, then it is important that you file the application, you protect it, and then you start selling it, because it is a most important business asset for you. Even the invention, the new invention, you don't want your competitors to start using it, right? So it's important that you know these basics, so that when you are thinking about intellectual property law, you will get an idea what you need to do.
Very true. Yeah. So my next question will be, so something about monetizing. So it is related to that. What advice would you give to business for leveraging their intangible assets, like trademark is there, patent is there, then copyright is there? How can individuals as well as businesses monetize and keep it protected?
So this is a very good question, because a lot of times people think that trademark is just like you just take a registration, you get a certificate, and your job is done. But now that you have registered it, now your journey of business starts, and now you can actually monetize it. You can earn money from your logo name, your brand name, your packaging, everything. So there are two ways in which you can monetize your, say, brand name or any IP. One is licensing, where you give permission to the other party to use it, and they will give you a royalty. So a lot of times when businesses open franchises, like say McDonald's, they are giving franchises to other people, and they're allowing them to use their brand name, and they are taking some license fee from them. So this is a way that you can earn money from your logo, your brand name. Another is assignment. So many times when businesses are selling off their companies, so they are actually selling the brand, the goodwill. So for that also, they can take a good lump they can take a good fee, actually a really good amount, if their business has been doing really well. So there are two ways in which they can actually monetize their IP: through licensing or through assignment, which also means by selling their IP.
Thank you, Srishti, for this wonderful tips, advice. So, friends, whoever wants to monetize, you know where to go for the guidance. K. Singhania, you can approach Srishti Singhania for their advice, and wonderfully she has described. So, continuing conversation, Srishti, uh, you've been recognized by BW Legal World's Under 30 Lawyer. So, how did it impact your career, and what different approach you took about after winning this award?
So I was very humbled to receive this award. So BW Legal World, we had a whole very rigorous application process, and the selection was very merit based. There were around more than 100 applicants, and they did an interview. We had an application process, interview process, and we were interviewed by around 15 lawyers who were like the top lawyers of their field. So it was very humbling to receive this recognition. And I think after receiving this recognition, I think it helps to build my credibility. My clients are assured that they are getting the correct advice, the best advice. And it also adds to responsibility for me, because I need to ensure that I keep up to that recognition and I give the best services to my clients so that their business goals are met. And I also believe in giving back, so it helps. I ensure that I'm able to encourage many more other lawyers, younger lawyers like me, and they're able to serve their clients to the best of their ability.
That's good. Going through a rigorous process, Shrishti, and we hope you get more awards in future. Casing and company also get more award, and you set an example to startup lawyers who venture into this field of IP or any law. So don't be afraid of the rigorous process. That is, you prepare yourself and you work towards it, and definitely you will win the award. So Shrishti, A lot of changes happen in the legal field in terms of the knowledge, research, and everything. So, how do you keep abreast of the changes happening?
So law is ever evolving, and thankfully we have a lot of legal blogs and legal websites like Bar and Bench and many more. So I think it's important to keep and take out some time every day and see what is the latest update, what is the latest case laws that can help you. And also Google Alerts is a very important good tool to keep updated on what is happening in the legal field. And I think lastly, I think you can take help of your team members and have a knowledge sharing session with each other, so that each of them can update you and you can update them about different laws.
Thank you for this tips. So, my next question will be like in any field, technology plays a important part. So, how technology has helped you evolve as a lawyer?
I think technology is a very important tool to do your work efficiently, and also now because after COVID everything is going online. Court hearings are happening online. We have to file our documents online. Contracts are online. Everything is happening online. So various tools definitely help us in editing our work properly and ensuring it's proofread properly. So in ensuring that the PDF is properly marked and we are uploading them on various court websites or sending it to different the arbitrator. So technology is a part and parcel of our life, and I think now with Chat GPT and other tools that are coming up, law technology is also helping lawyers in doing legal research and ensuring that we become as efficient so as possible. So I think we as lawyers we will have to keep pace with the upcoming technologies to polish our skills and ensure that we are able to deliver efficiently.
So, thank you for this answer, Srishti. My last question on your professional journey part will be uh, share some tips, advice for being a successful IP lawyer.
So I think first tip to be successful in any field is that you should be passionate about the subject, and you should always have the spirit of learning, continuous learning. So it's very important that we continuously keep learning, and law is very ever evolving. So we need to continuously learning to be a good, I think not only IP but any successful lawyer. If you are an IP lawyer, you should have interest in how the how brands work, how the media industry works, and have knowledge about your different business sectors. That also helps you give a different perspective while giving a legal solution. And I think yeah, so I think keep learning, and patience is, I think, the other patience and perseverance are the other things that as lawyers we need to keep at it, so that we keep polishing our skills and giving best to our clients.
So, friends, we come to an end of the professional journey. So, let's hear out how Shrishti as a person is. So, Shrishti, my first question will be how was your college life?
So college life was very rigorous because we had a lot of academic. It was very academically strong, my college. So we used to have a lot of readings, a lot of projects. So very rigorous. But apart from studies, I was a all-rounder student. So I also participated in a lot of extracurricular activities, moot court competitions, and I was also the cultural head of my college. So the fun aspect of my college was that I was able to organize a lot of fun events in my college, music events, music festivals, and that helped me make a lot of friends and enjoy my college life as well.
That's interesting. So, Shrishti, how do you unwind and relax after your day ends? Because there's a lot of work pressure you're facing during the day. So, how do you unwind yourself?
I think I unwind through exercise because I think that really helps you in decluttering your mind and getting back the energy. Another is also watching something light-hearted, something that will give me information, like good knowledge. And lastly, I think I'm also very spiritual.
Mhm.
So I practice Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism. So I try to chant or study something about the philosophy or share it with somebody. So
Mhm.
that helps me to be mindful, and that helps me to keep going through my day.
That's interesting. So my next question will be, who is your role model in the legal industry?
So my grandfather, actually, Mr. DC Singhania, my late grandfather, he's always been an inspiration because he was one of the first Indian lawyers to, start an Indian law firm abroad and also all over the country. He was a first generation lawyer, and even he was working till the age of 90. And after he established his legal firm, he also went back to giving back to society. He established a university in his village. So I definitely I seek a lot of inspiration from him about how he was so hardworking and so committed to the legal profession and to giving back to society. And the second person I definitely get motivated from is also another senior of mine. He passed away unfortunately during COVID. Mr. S. Malik. He was an advocate at the Bombay High Court, and he had completed at least 50 years of his profession. And I learned a lot of things from him because he was my mentor, and things like discipline, the spirit of keep learning even at his age. Even after practicing for 50 years, he would go back to the basics, go back to the law books. And whenever we didn't find an answer, he would always say that, ढूंढने पे तो भगवान भी मिल जाता है. So you will definitely find a legal answer to all the queries.
Wow.
So that those two people are my inspiration.
So, Srishti, who's the biggest supporter in your life?
I think my parents are the biggest supporters, and they have always encouraged me and motivated me to do my best. And I think their belief in me has helped me come so far.
Uh, so, Srishti, any travel experience which you have gone to a place and memories of that place and would like to visit again?
So yeah, one of my interesting travel experiences has been going to Leh and Ladakh. I mean, going to Ladakh. So it's a very serene place, and it is really beautiful, and there aren't many people over there. So one interesting experience was that we had gone to see a lake over there. It's called Sumoriri, and there was no network, nothing, and it was a very beautiful lake. But unfortunately, our car got stuck over there, and it wasn't moving in the pebbles. Got stuck in the pebbles near the lake, and it wasn't moving. There was no network. There were no people. There was nobody to rescue us, and we didn't know whether the car will move or not, and whether we'll be able to get out of that place. But fortunately, we kept praying over there for an hour, and there was auto bikers were there. So around 20 bikers came and helped us push the car. But I think that travel experience was very interesting. Helped us to connect with nature and give us hope
Mhm.
that in any difficult situation, if we have the hope, we will be rescued.
Yes, hope matters wherever we are, whatever
Indeed.
we are doing. Srishti, which book has impacted on your life?
So there's a book called Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It's by an American author called Richard Bash. So that book is quite inspiring because it is a fable about a seagull, who is tired about. He's unlike the other seagulls who are just concerned about, fetching food for themselves. And this
Mhm.
seagull is very passionate about flying, and because of which, other people don't understand his passion, and they actually outcast him. And later, actually, he polishes his skill. He becomes a great he pursues his passion for flying, and later on he does get a lot of admiration, and people want to learn from him flying. And he teaches the other seagulls also how to fly very high up in the sky. So this book actually encourages me that we sometimes get caught up in the rat race with everybody, and we should all basically focus on ourselves, our unique passions, our unique potentials, and realize our mission and focus on that instead of getting caught up in the rat race.
That's interesting book, which I would look forward to. I'm part of book reading and book clubs, so I'll share this book to recommend them to read this book. It's a very inspiring book. Thank you, Srishti, for sharing insights of this book. So, continue conversation, Srishti. Any childhood hobby, passion which has continued and you has made an impact on you?
So I was as a child, in school I used to be a singer, and I'm still a very good singer. So
Mhm.
that has definitely helped me to unwind on the weekend. And music is something, it says it's a language of the soul, so definitely helps to connect with other people, and to refresh my soul whenever one is feeling challenged or low, or in difficult times. Yeah.
That's interesting. So many things we're coming to know about Srishti. So we're coming to the last question of your personal journey. Describe Srishti in one line.
Mm, passionate and loving and peacemaker.
That's interesting. So, friends, we come to the personal journey and now the surprise, the rapid fire round. So, you have to answer Srishti very quickly. Uh, what do you like? Listening, reading a book, listening to music, or outdoor activity? Out of the three.
Listening to music.
Okay. Uh, tea or coffee?
Tea.
Favorite movie?
Three Idiots. Yeah.
Your favorite star?
Ritik Roshan.
Favorite song?
Uh, I nothing. Okay, it's coming to my mind actually.
It's fine.
Yeah,
And morning or evening person?
evening person.
Okay. So, friends, it was a lovely conversation we had with Srishti and many insights, many tips she has shared about the IP law, the commercial, arbitration, mediation. So, do watch this episode, which will be available on our YouTube channel, The Coffee Conversation Show. So, it was a lovely conversation which we had. So, friends, stay tuned. Look out to another episode of the Coffee Corner Show. This is a series part of the Emerging Lawyer, and we continue our conversation with another lawyer or another subject expert. Thank you, everyone. Signing off. This is Lion Amir Varani, who's a host of Coffee Conversation and a tech evangelist at Prime Infotech. Happy weekend. See you.